Welcome to Impact News Hour on First Next News Port Harcourt. First, we bring you the headlines. Federal government targets 900 billion naira capital in January 2026 bond auction. Ex-Minister Daizani appears in London court for €100 bribery trial. National Youth Service Corps warns Batch A Corps members against late-night travels. Bringing you the news this hour is Kasitoni. Now the news in details. The federal government plans to raise 900 billion naira through the reopening of three federal bonds in its January 2026 auction. Reopened bonds allow the government to tap into existing instruments with known carbon rates, offering certainty for investors and reducing the administrative cost of issuing new securities. The auction, according to a debt management office circulars issued on Monday, is scheduled for January 26, 2026, with settlements set for January 28, 2026. The January auction is part of the FGN's broader domestic borrowing strategy aimed at financing budgetary obligations while providing investors with stable, long-term investment opportunities and supporting the growth of the domestic debt market. Offering span medium and long-term bonds, providing investors with opportunities across multiple maturities. Moving on, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has been rearrested and taken into custody, this time by operatives of the Department of State Services. His arrest was in connection with alleged terrorism financing. Malami, his son, Abdulaziz, and wife, Haja Zabi Bashiri, were on January 7th remanded at the Koja Correctional Center, pending the perfection of their separate bail granted them by a Federal High Court, Abuja. They were arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) on a 16-count criminal charge bordering on fraud and money laundering to the tune of 9 billion naira. Following their not guilty plea, Justice Emeka Nwite admitted them to bail in the sum of 500 million naira each. Report, however, had it that Malami had again been arrested and was being detained for investigation on alleged terrorism financing. His arrest and subsequent detention was based on the alleged discovery of arms and ammunition at his country home in Borno, Kebbi State. The arms were discovered by the Anti-Graft Agency when they searched his residence for evidence in relation to his fraud and money laundering investigation. Since the alleged illegal possession of firearms fell outside the EFCC mandate, the agency handed the matter over to the DSS for comprehensive investigation. Confirming the arrest, a source within the security network disclosed that the former minister was being investigated over his alleged links with terrorism. He stressed that terrorism and terrorism financing were serious offenses globally, which could not be taken lightly. Away from that, former Minister of Petroleum Resources Daizani Alison Madukwe has appeared before the Southwark Crown Court in London, or United Kingdom, for the preliminary hearing of her trial promise on bribery charges. Alison Madukwe, who was in office from 2010 to 2015, was the first woman oil minister in Nigeria and the first female president of the Global Oil Cartel Organization of petroleum exporting countries. The case was listed on the cause list for Court 8 before Justice Tom. Alison Madukwe was in court for the preliminary hearing ahead of her full trial, scheduled to commence on January 26, 2026. Preliminary proceedings, including technical matters and jury selection, began this week, with Alison Madukwe in attendance. The 65-year-old had been on bail since she was first arrested in London in October 2015. She has denied 6 charges against her. Moving away from that story, the Ogun State government had confirmed that a medical doctor had been remanded in prison for allegedly issuing a fake medical report to help a popular blogger, Adetun Onajube, also known as Jos Adetun, evade police arrest. The government also disclosed that the Ogun State Police Command has fixed a 6-count charge against the blogger, who is currently on the run, following a complaint lodged against her by the state. A statement by the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Oluwashina Ogunbade, says, Adetun, an internet personality, has for years been accused of bullying, harassment, and using offensive language against individuals online. The controversy escalated after boxing champion Anthony Joshua was involved in an accident in Ogun State. Adetun allegedly posted videos claiming that there was no ambulance service anywhere in the state, and further accused Governor Dapo Abiodun of being in Ghana partying and impregnating women instead of attending to the boxer's welfare. Ogunbade described the claim as false, malicious, and misleading, stressing that Ogun State has multiple state-owned and state-supported ambulance services. In another report, the National Youth Service Corps has issued a travel and safety advisory to prospective corps members of the 2026 batch age stream. 1. Urging them to prioritize their safety while traveling to their orientation camps. According to a post on NYSC X handle, NYSC advised, corps members must undertake their journeys only during the daytime, warning against night travel due to increased security and road safety risk. According to the advisory, prospective corps members are encouraged to use registered transport companies and approved motor parks to reduce exposure to unsafe travel conditions. The NYSC also urged travelers to share their live location with family members or trusted contacts throughout their journey, noting that this could be helpful in emergencies. In addition, corps members were advised to speak up if drivers engage in speeding or reckless driving, stressing that silence in such situations could put lives at risk. NYSC further emphasized the importance of keeping mobile phones fully charged and carrying power banks to ensure constant communication during travel. The advisory added that prospective corps members should not hesitate to stop their journey and continue the next day if it becomes late, stressing that no journey is worth risking one's life. Still in the news, the National Youth Service Corps has deployed 2,050 corps members to Bauchi State for the 2026 batch A Stream 1 orientation exercise. The Bauchi State NYSC coordinator, Kufre Umorin, who made this known in an interview with the Newsman in Bauchi, says registration will be conducted from January 21 to January 23 at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp, Wailu, in Gonjuwa local government area of the state. He said that the swearing-in ceremony for the corps members is scheduled for January 23, and the orientation exercise will conclude on February 10. Omoran said that each of the corps members will be allowed into the camp after being adequately certified to be genuine graduates. He said that this quick screening of the corps members would be conducted to guard against intrusion or impersonation. The scheme also frowned on late-night journeys and urged corps members to stay safe. The state coordinator consequently tasked corps members with punctuality, diligence, and compliance with the dress code, warning that defaulters would be sanctioned. Away from that, troops of Operation Hadim Kai, a military offensive against Boko Haram splitter groups in the northeast, have repelled terrorist drone attacks during operation along the Timbuktu Triangle in Borno State. The spokesperson of Operation Hadim Kai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, who disclosed this in a statement, noted that the operations supported by the Nigerian Air Force were conducted on Sunday, January 18. According to the statement, troops advanced from their harbor area and conducted deliberate intelligence-led operations across several identified terrorist enclaves, including Chilaria, Garin, and Abima. It stated that the air component of OPHK provided persistent intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance coverage over the axis. The statement added that the air-to-ground synergy enabled real-time tracking of terrorist movements, deter adversary reinforcement, and enhance the precision and confidence of ground operations. According to the statement, despite the sustained engagement, troops' morale remains high and fighting efficiency continues to be maintained. And that's it on the news this hour. I am Kasitoni. Bye for now.